welcome to Bellauncinettocrafts. I'm Christina, and I want to welcome everyone here. If you are new, thank you so much. If you are returning, I appreciate you coming back. So today, as you can see, this is going to be a tutorial video for another episode of How Do I? And for those of you that are new to this series, I have started this series to show you how I do certain stitches and different elements of crochet, because everyone does it a little differently. And even though we say, oh, you must be a pencil holder or a knife holder or a flute holder, or you have tight tension, or you use it inline or tapered, and all of these words, right? What do they mean? And so I've started the series. I do have a playlist called How Do I? And you can go through and check those things out. I start with the hooks. I start with a little bit of the yarn, and I go on from there. So today I have had a lot of people say they don't know how to do a C2C, and that stands for corner to corner. Now there are a lot of videos out there, and I perfected mine from watching some YouTube videos. There were a couple of them that I really didn't understand, but I'm not going to talk about the terminology that they use because I don't want to get confusing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And so I just have some basic cotton, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a washcloth. And that's a great way to practice stitches, right, is to do a washcloth. Now I am going to make my washcloth rectangular because I'm going to show you how to increase and decrease on the corner to corner, because that seems to be the biggest thing. They're like, oh, I can make a square, but how do I know when to make it go back to the other corner, right? And you'll understand what I mean a little bit later. So I have my hook. I am using a 6mm or size J clover hook, and I'm doing that so that the stitches are a little bit bigger and you can see them better on the video. And I have 2 stitch markers here so that I can know which side is my increase side and which side is my decrease side. If you like these stitch markers, this one came from Rose at Rose Likes Crochet. She doesn't have these anymore, but she has tons of them in her Etsy shop. And these little hanky markers are from Lisa at Ladybird Loves, and she has tons of colors and all different varieties if you want to contact her. So we will get started here with the cotton, and this is just cotton from Premier. It is 85 cotton and 15% or 85% cotton and 15% polyester. Now, if you're making something for the kitchen or anything that you want to absorb water, like a coast or dishcloth, the more cotton, the better. Okay, so we're going to start with a slip knot. Now, I do have a video already on how to make a slip knot, so I can link my playlist for How Do I down below. All right, so are we ready? We will begin. So I'm just going to move these out of the way so that they're not getting in the way here. All right, so we start out with 1 square, and how do we do that? We're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3. Now, I like to take my finger and put it right here on the 3rd chain. You'll see why in just a minute. So that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, I'm going to take and skip the first 3 stitches, and I have my finger on the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to double crochet into that chain. Okay. The beginning is always the most fiddly part, right? As we all know. All right, so there's 1 double crochet, and then I'm going to double crochet into the next 2. So put 1 double crochet into each of the next chain stitches. There's a double crochet, and there's a double crochet. And I like to treat it just like it's a stitch and go into both of those loops right there. Okay. Double crochet. Now I have what is essentially my first square. It doesn't really look like a square, but it is a square. All right. So now I'm going to start to build the next row. So this is row 1. Done. All right. So to build the next row, we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm going to put my finger there. 4, 5, 6. All right. And then I'm going to come down and skip these. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to double crochet into that 4th one. And all the way back down to my first row. 1, 2, 3. And if you're struggling with double crochet, I do have a basic stitch video where I go over single, double, single, half double, and double crochet. All right, now they look like 2 little pieces here. What I'm going to do, and I'm just going to move this out of the way so you can see, I have these 2. This is the first one. This is the second one. Okay. Now I am going to take this first one and I'm going to flip it up like this. Okay. I'm going to flip it up. I'll do that again so you can see it. I'm going to take this first one because it was down like this, and I'm going to flip it up like this. Now, you have those 3 chains that you skipped, and it forms a loop here. You see that? I can just put my hook in there. Forms a loop like this. Okay? So, once you've flipped this up, okay, you're going to take your hook and insert it and do a slip stitch. Okay, you're going to do a slip stitch right into that one. And now you have joined rows 1 and 2. And then you're going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this will act as your first double crochet for the second square of row 2. Then you're going to do 3 more double crochets into this same little loop area there. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now I have completed row 2 of my corner to corner. So here's row 1, right? And it was hanging down here. And remember, I flipped it up and joined it with a slip stitch to the second one I had created. Okay, and then I did a chain 3 and then 3 double crochets. And that is row 2. Now, for row 3, I'm going to get some more yarn here. And I had a big yarn barf when I tried to do this earlier. And then I had to stop because it was time for dinner. And I just wound it back up and was like, I'll just start over. So that's why it's all wrapped around there. All right, so I'm going to do row 3. So now that I'm here, I'm going to chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put my finger here. 4, 5, 6. Now I do that because I don't like to count, to be honest. I don't like to count. So I put that there so I don't have to remember. So I'm going to slip this into the 4th. So this would be the 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because it was up from 3. And I'm just going to double crochet all the way back down. So you'll have 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So each time when I chain 6, I am increasing by 1 square. Okay? So now I have these squares here. right? So I am going to take this and I'm now going to flip these up like this. So I have these three, right? My first row and my second row. I'm going to flip it like this. And then I'm going to join with this loop, right? From that 3 that I skipped, or that chain 3, and I'm going to slip stitch. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as a double crochet. And then 3 more double crochets into this loop. 1, 2, get all that out of there, and 3. Now, I'm going to finish row 3 by going into this. Here's that loop again, right? So that's that chain 3, and I am going to slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's a double crochet. Then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into the same area. 1, 2, 3. Now that is row 3 completed. 1, 2, 3. So every time you will increase by 1 square. So you'll do your chain 6, double crochet in the 4th chain, double crochet in the 5th, double crochet in the 6th, flip it up, join with a slip stitch into that loop area, which are going to be those 3 chains that you skipped, slip stitch, chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, 3 more double crochets, and continue on. So I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to decrease. All right, I'm back. That was just a couple seconds for you, but it was a few minutes for me. I have done 8 rows. So if we count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and so now I am going to start decreasing continuing to increase on one side and decreasing on the other. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. So that you can maintain, if you want it to be a rectangle, depending which side you want it to grow, or if you wanted to make it a square, you would just start decreasing on both ends. All right, so I'm going to mark each side with a stitch marker. Oh my goodness, I lost my words. I'm sorry. So the hanky marker side is going to be the side that I continue to increase on. I'm just going to put that in there. And then the roller skate side is going to be the side that I decrease on. So I'm just going to put that down in this bottom here so that I don't get into a different stitch. So, uh-oh, did I lose my stitch? No. Okay. Let's come out of there. Oh, hold on, you guys. I tangled myself up. Let me get that out of there and put that back in there. All right, so remember, when we increase, we chain 6, 1, 2, 3, finger, 4. Ooh, that split. Finger there. Make that smaller. 4, 5, 6. All right, and then we will double crochet into the 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where my finger is. Okay, double crochet into 5, maybe, and then double crochet into 6. Okay, and then we will flip the whole piece, and as it gets bigger, it gets a little bit more difficult to flip, but you do flip the entire piece, and then you will slip stitch. So this would be starting row 9 for me. And then I will chain 3. And then I will just continue along until I get to the other side. All right, so I'm going to pause it and come back. All right, so I have made it to the next to the last square on my 9th row, right? And this is the side that I am going to maintain or decrease on, right? So this side will not get any longer, all right? So I'm going to continue this just like I would, chain 3, 3 double crochet into this one. Okay. And then I'm going to go into this one because I want to continue the row, and I'm going to slip stitch, chain 3, and then 3 double crochet to make the end of my row. Oh, didn't get that one, did I? This is the end of my row here. All right. So now, instead of chaining 6 and continuing like I would before, I am going to turn my work. So instead of, flipping up, right, I'm going to turn my work, turn it around like this, and I am going to slip stitch across 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, slip stitch 3, maybe slip stitch 3. All right, so that brings me back to where I was without any increasing. So now I'm going to continue and make row 10, but I'm not going to increase on this side anymore. So I will just continue the corner to corner on till I get to this side where I'm going to continue to increase, remember? So I will slip stitch in here to create 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 3 more double crochet, 1, 2, 3, right, and then slip stitch into this one. And now this side will continue up like this. So it will not grow out anymore. It will just make a straight line because I slip stitched and went across. So it will not grow up anymore. All right. So I will continue on and then increase 2 more times here. And then I will continue to decrease on both sides, and I'll be back. All right, I am back. Now I have just increased 1 more time. So here's the 1, and then here's another increase here. And then I just wanted to show you again, I'm at the side where I am no longer increasing. So where this chain 3 is, I'm going to take this and slip stitch into it. And then I'm going to turn my work. Right, I've turned it, and then I'm going to slip stitch 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so I'm no longer increasing on that side, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, that's a double crochet, 3 more double crochets into this for my next row. Sorry for bumping there. And then I'm going to continue on, slip stitch into that, and continue my row. But if you look, it's now making more of a rectangle shape instead of a square. So if I wanted to decrease and make it a square here, where I decided to continue increasing, I would not have done that. I would have started decreasing here as well. Okay, so I would have just slip stitch, turned, slip stitch 3, and then continue building my corner the way I did on this side. And then I would have a square instead of a rectangle. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. I've got to do one more increase on this side, and then I'm going to decrease and show you how it goes into the corner at the opposite end. All right? All right, everyone, I am back. I have just a couple more rows left to do here, but you see I started right at the very tippy little corner down here, and now I have created the washcloth. And if you, as you are maintaining the side here, essentially you are decreasing because you're building this side to just maintain along here, and then as you start to maintain the other side, right, it starts to decrease. All right, so I have done this, and I am going to chain 3 and then do my 3 double crochets around here. Okay, and then slip stitch, maybe. And then I'm going to continue on this row, and hopefully I can finish this up with you all here. Okay, and we have, trying to get a little bit more yarn in here. Right, and now I'm coming to this side here, and I'm just going to do my 3 double crochets into this stitch here, this little loop, and then see, I take where that chain was and I put in my my slip stitch, and then I'm going to turn my work. See, now I only have 3, whereas I had 4 before. So then I'm going to slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, and slip stitch 3, and then I'm going to start this one, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me turn it a little bit so you can see it a little better. Sorry, everyone. And then chain, or 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to take this here, slip stitch, 1, 2, 3, get some more yarn, and because I am decreasing my 3 double crochets, I'm almost at the end. Okay, there's that. I slip stitch into this, and I turn my work. Almost at the end, you guys. Slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, slip stitch 3. This is going to be my last corner. Slip stitch here, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. A little bit more yarn, and 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then when I slip stitch this into here, that will be it. There's my washcloth. So I started right down here with this one, and then I built out, and then I stopped. Let me turn this here. So I started here, right, in this little corner, and then I kept going until here. I decided I am not increasing on this side anymore, and then I just maintained by slip stitching and turning, and I continued to increase for 2 more here. Then I decided I'm done, and then I started turning and slip stitching here as well. So once you decide you are ready to maintain and decrease your side here, you're doing turning instead of flipping. As you are increasing, you are flipping your work to connect it. All right. I really hope this has been helpful. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Now I have a lovely washcloth, and I hope you all have a great, great day, night, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Any questions, comments, please leave them down below, and I look forward to many more tutorials with you. Be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!